So it is a new day, over here new evening, which means, of course, new Tetris matches. And yes, as you can see here in the intro, today we have Gunter on the left side and then PIW, at least in this stream. After the stream, PIW will take over and do his own stream, where we then will have a different match, being Shuichi versus me at 18 UTC. So yeah, we will have a total of 2 matches here happening today. Yeah, Gunter is currently, started at rank 11, PIW at rank 16. And yeah, if we take a quick look at the bracket, we can see that they are now in 14 for PIW and 13 for Gunter, so this is gonna be a close match. And yeah, what's important, of course, is over here our rules. As always, we play 18 all the way, and there will be no line cap in place. We will also use SPS, as well as a controller and hand cam. All of that is mandatory. And we will play a best of 9. As for the standings, you get points depending on how you perform in the match. You get 3 points if you win a decider, if you win outside of a decider. So if it's, for example, 5-3, then the winner does get 3 points for the standings. You get 2 points if you win a decider, you get 1 point if you lose a decider, and you get 0 points if you lose outside of a decider. And the top 3 in the ranks of the standings over here will advance to the PALDAS Cup 2026. So as you can see here, currently would be Merkos, Tugi, and Rocha could advance to the so-called PALDAS Cup. And for the PALDAS Cup, we have the PALDAS cycle over here. As you can see, we have the major events being PALDAS Swiss, PALDAS Classic, and PALDAS League, as well as the other events being PDM. PDM does happen outside of these major events. And yes, you can see the top 3 of the PDS, PALDAS Classic and PALDAS League do advance to the PALDAS Cup 2026 edition. And then also the top 3 of the PDM standings, as well as the PALDAS ELO. And talking about the ELO, as you can see over here, we currently have neither of these players in the top 20. But yeah, currently would be Merkos, Mark, and Tugi. But of course, if you're already in the top of 1 place, so if you, for example, win PDS, then you won't be able to also get a second spot in the PALDAS Cup from the ELO. So yeah, then of course it would shift down to Mark, Joji, Sam, I believe. And yeah, now let's take a quick look at our player profiles. As you can see, Gunter and PIW. Gunter is known as the CWC Paris organizer. We had the first event last year, and also this year we will have one. He also won the CWC Game Boy Championship in 2023, as well as CWC Iberia in 2024. And as you know, he's the French scammer of Famicoms and gym cards. His performance so far has been winning 5-0 against me and losing 2-5 against Tugi, which puts him in a similar place as PIW, who lost 1-5 against Sam, also known as SV, and then won 5-0 against Martz, and now these two play against each other. And yeah, as you know, PIW is the host, main host and organizer of the paldastetris events. He also got the 4th place in the Polish PAL Championship in 2023, as well as the 4th place in the Incorrect Playstyle Polish Championship. And I believe that's all that I'm supposed to talk about here in the beginning. And now all that is left is for Gunter to show up. Gunter is not yet live as far as I can tell. Let me triple check that we are actually waiting. Yep, it looks like we are currently waiting for our branch player, which is perfect because I still need to open a few things over here. I had to work until pretty much this stream started, so I wasn't fully able to prepare, just needed to run my link to make sure that I have Gunter over here, and once I have him properly in my stream, then I will switch over to it and we will start the timer. And as you can see, Gunter is not yet live, so let's do the thing that nobody wants to do, and that is have a timer on the left side, opening the scripts, and let's say 15 minutes, so let's say 18:16 start. So the timer is running over here. Actually, it's always a bit sad, in my opinion, if you only have nothing playing, so let's do it like this, and then also Swiss scheduling at Gunter judges are waiting, and we will now start the timer. And yes, I know that there was quite a lot in the chat that I didn't talk about so far, because I had been monologuing my way here for the past few minutes. Ivan saying earlier, by the way, welcome in the chat, Ivan. I got a welcome music, to be honest, but I watched the stream for a while to recharge. I hope that you will actually be able to enjoy some Tetris while we have the stream over here. And won't discharge. Could you make your voice a bit louder? I can't, but instead I will make the music. Well, actually, maybe I can. For whatever reason, my PC sometimes is like, haha, let's put your volume of the microphone to 60%. So sorry that I saw it this late. I hope this is now better in sound-wise. PIW also saying, I hope not timer time today when I play the French scammer. We should always scam. Wait, we should always play, not scam. Also, Ivan saying the paradox is that whether Gunter shows up or not, we are going to get scammed. Exactly, either by his appearance or disappearance. Yeah, and that's what makes Gunter such an amazing person. No matter what happens, he's always scamming you. And here we can see PIW warm-up over here on level 19. Of course, as a paldastetris player, you can play, at least in theory, for forever. In reality, it does depend on your execution. As you can see here over here on PIW side, you can move the pieces pretty far to the sides, like even getting the longbow over that. So yeah, amazing desk players are capable of playing Tetris on paldastetris 19 pretty much forever, maybe even getting a few Tetrises in, and it looks like our French scammer just showed up. So perfect, has to adjust our stencil here, but that should only take a minute or two. Even saying, oh no, I'm being scammed! Nobody wants to be scammed. But yeah, so let's see how Gunter can set this up. But it looks like Gunter's pretty used to setting up our stencil here. And yeah, once I see Gunter in chat, I will get them their first seats. Their first seat, because at least PIW does like to play a new seat for all of the games here, which means we would get in total at least 5 seats, like completely rerolled seats and not just incremented, or at maximum 9 depending on how quickly this match ends, and quickly as in how many games are being played. PIW now typing a bit here in the chat. Gunter saying hi, perfect. So Gunter, let's get you the seat. The seat is now in chat and pinned. Yeah, SPW saying yes, incorrect playstyle the seat every game. And that is what we will do. Let's see how much more there will be from Gunther. A bit is fine to me. If it's like 10 minutes, then please don't. But yeah, Gunther is looking like he's doing a bit of 18-3 here in the beginning. Just to get a bit of the desk control again. Because in PAL, you could say the desk control is a bit harder than on NTSC due to the slipperiness of PAL. You know, 12.5 Hz against 10 Hz dash. PIW also saying you have another match at 18-3. Yes, that's why I'm like, if there's 2 minutes or so for warm-up, like one 18-3, totally fine. If there's more than one 18-3, then it's a bit long. So let's see how much warm-up there will be from Gunther. And the SPW is also saying warm-up should have been done before the match. I fully agree there. Yeah, also good luck, have fun from PIW, and Gunther is offline. I assume some small tech issue over here on Gunther's side. I don't want to start the timer again because he technically showed up. Encoding error. Ah, okay. Yeah, tech issues are kinda tough. I hope that you were able to fix the encoder error. I remember that I had a kinda similar issue. Maybe, not really, but somewhat similar. In the first round, where I had some capture weird stuff issues. And then we had to reschedule the match due to tech issues. That should be possible over here as well, in case you can't fix it within a reasonable amount of time. Okay, Gunther saying hopefully it works now. They let me refresh your site a bit. Okay, we're now back here on Gunther's side. And let's hope that there won't be any more encoding issues. Okay, and looks like Gunther is ready, having the hover over 3. Also saying good luck, have fun. So let's see if PW is also ready to play, and then we can start game number 1 here. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So yeah, this is game number 1 between these two players. As always, let's hope that we will have a nice long match over here, optimally all 9 games, all going to level 19. Or I guess schedule-wise we should instead hope that we will only see 6 or 7 games. But you know, that's not what I want. I want the full best of 9 over here. So here in the beginning, both players having similar stacks, a bit of burning here on Gunther's side that PIW isn't taking. So at about the same lines, we have 52 against 69. Which means it's even as saying go PIW. It is in fact go PIW, as he started having a 1 Tetris lead here. Now PIW also burning a bit, which might remove the lead pretty much. It's not to negotiate, it's negate the lead. Something like that. But Gunther's also burning a bit now. Yeah, getting the pieces required into the standard world here for Gunther now. So Gunther setting up the next Tetris. PIW is burning a single here for the next Tetris readiness. Waiting for the bar. Okay, not going for the bar dependency on the left side, instead going for the LJ long bar dependency here. Getting the long bar. And next Tetris to PIW, where Gunther is open and getting the next Tetris now. 110 for Gunter against 144 here for PIW, now up to 167 on PIW side. Okay, that was slight lagging for Gunter, and for a second was like, oh no, please not another encoder issue. And Danny also in the chat saying, yeah, Tetris! Tetris is amazing. Gunter getting a bit high here, he gets a longbar, nice. Is able to burn a few lines and can now either try to go for a center well or take the burns. Looks like Gunter's going for the burns. It's open once again, does get the OPs over and takes the next burns here to get into the standard position. In the meantime, PIW also being a bit dirty over here and burning a bit, but was able to get a nice lead in of about 70k as we are now at 131 against 203. Gunter overshifting that JPs didn't cause more issues in the stack. He was able to get Tetris in afterwards, so he's now in a position that's low enough to burn this, but it's gonna cost Gunter a bit of pace here. But yeah, PIW is still cleaning up from what he had earlier. The surviving clear on Gunter's side, I'd say, is much nicer than what we have seen here for PIW. But PIW was able to get the lead in the beginning and is still ahead as we are at 170 against 220, which means we have a 50k lead, which is 2 Tetrises and some change lead here for our Polish player PIW. And that was a lot of P's, PPP. Gunter now going for a 1 high setup here, waiting for the next bar in order to get Tetrises. Next Tetris here to Gunter. And PIW going for cut him 8, next Tetris to PIW, only needs to run a single here to get into the standard well, which is worth it, so he decides to get the single here. And is not taking a few burns for the Tetris readiness. Next bar for PIW into Tetris. Gunter also got a Tetris in the meantime, needed to burn a few lines here, as now Tetris ready once again, taking a double over here. And you have 223 against 272, so the lead for PIW has increased by a bit. As we are now in the last about 40 lines of level 18. So yeah, this has been a bit of a suffer game here for these players, but it has been that for both of them, which means neither having a huge advantage. And the about, yeah, 30-40k difference that we have is something that can be made up on level 19. Not sure if these players will be able to. As in, it's gonna be really tough. In theory it's possible, in reality, I lean towards no, but maybe they can have their 19 of the life. In that case, it would be Gunter, of course. As we're in the last 20 lines, we have a 341 again for Gunter, 395 here for PIW. So around about a 50k lead, which is 2.5 Tetris, 2 Tetris and some change, as already said earlier. PIW taking a few burns here. And even so, in reality, to have to play a lot of Fortnite to master that. Exactly, you have to win a Fortnite tournament in order to win a Tetris tournament. And we're now in the last 2 lines here of Gunter and last 3 lines of PIW. 390 for Gunter, 424 for PIW. Gunter transitioning at 414. PIW transitioning at 448. Gunter overshifting that JPs here, and this board is now escalating into a top out, which means that we have the win here for PIW, 133 for 1560, as well as for 50, 480, and 130 for 9s. Which means it is now, give me a second. Let's just do the first, the seat beforehand. And welcome to the chat, Nizrek. I hope that you can enjoy this. And where the heck is the OBS scene once again? No, not this link. I thought it was in the tag. Oh yeah, it is, perfect. So we now also have the 1-0 here in the chat for our Polish player. We have the hover 3 ready here for Gunter. And then I'm waiting for PW here using the C06 7F99 seed in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. The bot was a bit delayed. We have the ready here for PIW, as well as for Gunter. So let's see what game number 2 will be able to show us. In the first game we had a nice long survivor by Gunter, 31 points, which then allowed PIW to win the game. And we had 2 4-note Ks, so let's see if we can repeat the 2 4-note Ks, and also a long game until 19, a few lines on 19. Winner, we will see. As you know, I don't care who wins as long as we get a decider. That's what I go by in pretty much all games. There's a really few exceptions, like when I'm playing, of course. But other than that, I always say, let's have a full best of whatever we are playing over here in PDS. It's best of 9. We have 55 here for Gunter against 117 here for PIW. Gunter just has to burn a lot here in the beginning of this game. Especially as we're now in a drought position here, while PIW was able to get a few more Tetrises and not getting the red SPs over here for PIW. Has closed the well here. That LP is also not exactly what he wants. I feel like flipping that LPs would have been a bit nicer to have it upside down. So PIW is now high and he needs to burn this out. He does get the next red piece over and he doesn't get the next red SPs over, which means PIW tops out at 125, 433 lines, which means Gunter, your goal is 126, 126. No, to be safe. Unfortunate misdrops here by PIW side. So let's see if Gunter will be able to get out of this situation and then either get a Tetris or 2 in, or just survive until winning. And it looks like Gunter is able to clean this up. Just a few lines left to go. Getting the triple into openness here, which means he's about 1.5 Tetrises away from overtaking PIW here in this chase down. So yeah, Gunter can take both a Tetris or lining out in order to win this. He's only at about 60 lines. At that point, it's quite easy to just line this out and win. Yeah, now Gunter taking a few burns here after having closed the well. And is now at 126, which means Gunter is safe. So GG's to Gunter, as we now have a 1-2-1. And also the new seed is now in the chat here. The next seed is gonna be 3891C3. And yes, Danny is saying that was a rough situation here for PIW. And as Gunter saying, unfortunate misdrops here that happened. But that is what makes and PAL Tetris so amazing to me, because you need pretty much perfect desk control all the time. Let's start game number 3 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Both players have started. Once again, a slightly earlier start here on PIW side. I assume that's due to a bit different stream delay. And Danny's saying, and that's why I suck at PAL. Yes, the desk control required to play PAL is quite tough to achieve. But fun fact, my PAL DAS 19 is actually better than my NTSC DAS 19. Which doesn't mean that my PAL DAS 19 is good, it just means that my NTSC DAS 19 does suck even more. And that's why it's not fully sure if I'm allowed to say this on stream. But that's why many people call it anti-shitris, but PIW is quite at the tough position. TPs to the left, TPs to the right would have been so much better for the burn, but I believe PIW thought there was gonna be a burn, so it was a ghost burn situation here for PIW in the beginning. Didn't pay full attention there, I will admit, which means Gunter, you have won game number 3, and it is now 2-1 for Gunter. Once again, unfortunate here for PIW that most likely ghost burn here. TPs to the left would have been nice if there was a single burn, but sadly there wasn't. And with that we will get the new seed here. And yeah, as Gunter is saying, bit out at the start in SP's burst. That sort of stuff can just absolutely ruin your chances of, you know, surviving. I mean, I would normally say drought not as much as the SP's burst, but both can be pretty bad. Gunter saying that's what you get for rerolling. I mean, you could say that rerolling the seed is, you know, time and just wanting to waste some of it. But yeah, no, some players actually perform better at seed rerolls. Probably just a mental thing, but yeah, always respect that. And both players are now ready, so let's start game number 4 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. And this time, actually, Gunter started before PIW. Yeah, let's hope that PIW will be able to form nicely here today. And that he won't have one more potato game. But on the other hand, if someone loses this match quickly, I actually have a bit of time for warm-up against Shuichi. That, of course, is something that I haven't properly thought about before when I said that I want this match to be all 9 games. Happens. But your next Tetris, or like first Tetris to PIW, next Tetris to Gunter, we have 55k for Gunter against 38k here for PIW, which means you have around about a 1 Tetris lead here for Gunter in the beginning, as PIW had to burn a few more lines. Both players now open once again, waiting for the bar. Bar does arrive on Gunter's and now PIW side. And welcome in the chat. Freezed Washes, something like that. I'm not fully sure. That's a name that's tough to pronounce. Yeah, as you can see, we are here at paldastetris. Paldastetris to be exactly. What is important here is we play obviously only Pal and we play best of 9. I guess in order to follow the match, there's not much more that's required to know. So yeah, 109 for Gunter, 112 for PIW. Next 2 Tetris is happening here. T-Tuck for PIW. It looks like this will finally not be a suffer game. As you had already 151, 34k here at the line 40. And yeah, PIW actually was able to get a bit of a lead in now. So based on the few games that we've seen so far, it looks like Gunter is a bit more consistent, but PIW is able to get higher scores in. But that of course is only based on a small sample of games here. It looks like we have once again a drought here, so these seeds today have been quite drought heavy for these smaller droughts. And here we can see Gunter was able to once again overtake PIW here, but Gunter needs to burn a few lines that PIW doesn't need to burn, and that, taking into consideration, has now allowed PIW to once again get the lead here. It is really close, 283 against 291. So we are in a neck and neck situation, Nacken an Nacken. I forgot what was in Polish and Italian. I learned that once and I immediately forgot it afterwards, so I guess my language skills aren't the best over here. I should also learn how to say it in French, just to, of course, immediately forget it. Yeah, this is, yeah, neck and neck, 354, 344, so now about a 10k lead here for Gunther. PIW being behind by a bit. Gunther takes a few burns now, gonna be at best 3 burns, maybe more, and maybe a left rail. Left rail at this position, yeah, I want to say only 2 burns, so I personally wouldn't want to take it. But of course some players just want to play a bit more aggressive, for example, and then going for the left rail is definitely an option in those scenarios. But yeah, we're also close to level 19, and on level 19 you, I would say it doesn't really matter what way you go for, because you're not gonna Tetris anyways. But you win the last around about 10 lines, 431 for Gunther, 405 here for PIW, which means Gunther was able to get a small lead in before the transition. And we have 2 Tetrises possible here for these 2 players. And PIW would have to get both, while Gunther doesn't get any in order to win this without level 19 play. But this will potentially come down to level 19 play here, depending on whether or not PIW can get like 80k, which is unlikely, but possible. And PIW is showing us some nice burns here in the beginning of 19, but isn't able to continue them for a bit here, which means he tops out at 419.20 at 132 lines, which means Gunther wins game number 4. And we have now a 3-2-1 situation here. And of course, Gunther, feel free to mudden as much as you want. But yeah, level 20, 143 lines. Nicely played here by Gunther on level 19. Just as I said, feel free to play as long as you want. Of course, he started topping out, then got one more single in. But yeah, nicely done here, and let's next play game number 5. Also, let's hope that we will be able to see a bit of games for PIW once again. As I said, my hope is to get a decider, which means both players win 4 games. Of course, for the individual player, it's better to win the game, because that you get 3 points instead of 2, winning as in without a decider. But yeah, let's see how this game will now go, as we are once again in a 3-2-1 Tetris. Will we be able to have the full game once again, or will we have an early top out similar to game 2 and 3? Let's find out here at paldastetris, the match between Gunther and PIW in round number 3. Of course, you're not supposed to play against the same opponent twice over here in paldastetris. That would only happen if there's no other way to schedule it, and even then, yeah, it's not what we want to do. So we can kind of confidently say that this is the only match these players will play against each other, unless, again, there's no other way of scheduling things. And in the beginning we have 93k for Gunther against 93k here for PIW, now both to 116. And we can see the difference is half a single. So we have a close opening here in game number 5 between these 2 players. And also that you are not able to hear the background noises here too loudly. My heads work until pretty much the stream started, as I believe I already said. Actually, a bit even when the stream started, because I had to check a few mails and stuff like that. So yeah, and during that I didn't have my window open, so I'm now doing window threads in order to get some fresh air in, which means that you can, for example here, potentially airplanes, as I live close-ish to an airport, and we are in the, I don't know how to say, Einflugschneise. In English it's like the flying in something something, I have no idea. As you can tell, English isn't my native language, so there's some words that I simply do not know. And you have 203 for Gunther, 237 here for PIW, as we're getting close to the halfway point of this game. And so far it looks like we have once again a DT for PIW, as PIW is about a Tetris and a half ahead here of our French scammer Gunther. And yeah, we are allowed to call him that because he literally has this in his player profile, which we used to introduce him. And next Tetris to both of these players. We also see a bit of funny capture stuff here on PIW side when he gets a Tetris from time to time. I only know that some CRTs have these small things when you get a Tetris due to the sudden brightness. In some cases it's like an earthquake even. Didn't know that capture cards had that as well, but maybe with AV, I have no idea as I haven't used AV capture cards in quite a long time. I'm playing using a Retron HD, simply because it's much easier when you use Nestros gems. That's the sole reason. But yeah, Gunther once again taking a few burns in here as open, while PIW could have tried to go for the dirty Tetris here. Longbar hasn't been falling down, so his safer approach definitely was worth it, because if he went for the dirty Tetris, he, realistically speaking, would have topped out. And we're now at around about the last 100 lines here of this game of level 18. Which means that Gunther needs to catch up around about 80k here. That's quite a lot to catch up. I believe it would have been possible if PIW doesn't go for any Tetrises. And yeah, we can see that now 368, 418. So already getting a Tetris closer. But Gunther needs to take a few burns here. And this, I believe, now means that Gunther will have to do some... Well, actually depends on PIW. I was like, he's gonna get out of this soon, but PIW is not looking like he's gonna get out of this. Not able to go for the Tetris here, instead decided to burn this. Kinda unfortunate, and yeah, now we have 416 against 428. What I wanted to say earlier was, and yeah, this now should mean that Gunther will have to go for level 19, but no, PIW is just burning so much before the transition here, that it doesn't matter. Finally, one more Tetris here for Gunther. Gunther transitions at 460, PIW transitions at 460, Gunther at 466, which means we have a 4-1 now for our French player, which means next up it's gonna be match point for Gunther. And yeah, Gunther is now showing us a nice 19 once again, getting nearly to level 21 for now. Now at level 21 here for Gunther. Some nice 19 survival that he is showing us. And it looks like he is now topping out here at 153 lines and 483, 560. And by the way, thanks Chromium for not loading the send chat input, so let's do ! seed. Yeah, this was nice close until the transition, and pretty much just a Tetris difference in between these two players. PIW was saying too much suffer before the transition. Yeah, that was a lot of suffer before the transition for you. Like the last nearly 30 lines without a Tetris, that's tough. Yeah, next up, match point for Gunther. I believe optimally we have 2 to 3 games now to play, because then we will finish between 45 and 00. Maybe even 4 games, which means we would be on schedule for our match against Shuichi perfectly. We'll start game number 6 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Gunther started, and PIW started as well. So yeah, let's see how this game will go here between Gunther and PIW. Gunther only needs to win this game in order to win the match. PIW would have to win the next 4 games in order to win. And PIW wants to win the next 3 games, because at that point he is able to force the decider, which grants him 1 point for the standings at minimum. Here in the beginning, Gunther was able to get a small lead, 93 against 78 here for PIW. Gunther quite high, as it looks like a small drought is approaching, closing the world here, not getting the correct SPs here, now getting quite high, missing that LPs but getting the bar, so Tetris to Gunther to now a safe-ish position height-wise. And starting to work on the cleaner process here, while PIW has been able to stay nice and low and clean, or pretty clean, as he had to burn a few lines here. But yeah, point was, it's still a lead here for Gunther, as PIW also has a small misstop here. Gunther is showing us some really nice digging here, getting the pieces exactly where they need to be. And is now nearly fully open, just having a small hole in this deck. Or early shifting that blue SPs. I wanted to say, and now I expect him to play 1 high, but that blue SPs misshift, early shift, of course, does change things here. And yeah, that is also something that I would say happens more likely on PAL 18 compared to NTSC 18, simply due to the speed of PAL 18 being faster than on NTSC 18. Yeah, 144, 146. So it is now a neck and neck between these 2 players. Gunther going for the bar on the left side. Tetris for Gunther. PIW high burning, taking the next long bar. Tetris for Gunther. 169, 175. So small lead here for PIW. As PIW now needs to burn. Gunther got the triple in here. And is now able to go for the standard left well. It's also nearly Tetris ready here. Actually didn't go for the long bar to the right. Would have assumed that for the Tetris readiness, but yeah, that has worked out nonetheless so far. Okay, open once again here on Gunther's side. Early shift of that red SPC here by PIW, which means PIW is now in a burning process, as he is kinda high, which means he needs to clean this up. Only 1 line optimally left to go, and it turns out he is now open once again, waiting for the next bar for the next Tetris, or a way to clean up the 2 holes that he has in the stack, and he is going for the cleanup for now. And not getting the blue SPs over. This could be, once again, an unfortunate early stop out here for PIW. Yeah, looks like that's it for PIW in game number 6, which means you have 190, 140 at 7 lines, which means we already know our match winner. It is gonna be Gunther. And of course, Gunther, as you're in the last game here and are winning, feel free to play this until the end. And as PIW is saying, good luck in your remaining 3 rounds, which means about 30 more days left to go here for the 3 rounds, as each round is 10 days, and you can extend by 4 days 2 times. And exactly PIW, I will just go offline so that you can then go online for the match between me and Shuichi. Of course, after all of the outro stuff where Gunther plays to the end, we take a look at the statistics and so on and so forth. By the way, also, feel free to report the game. I don't believe I have that sheet open, and finding that is... here, matches. Matches? No, check. It's tag here. Okay, you're already in this, so I'm just gonna not do anything and assume that PIW is reporting this match. Maybe it's incorrect. I'm confused now. Also, thanks to the right Dobry of 3 players. As you can see, the first match just has finished as Gunther is now in a 5-1 against PIW. And the second match between Shuichi and me will start at 18 UTC. So in around about 20 minutes here as Gunther is finishing up this match, or like this game, at 137 lines and 413,800, which means we now have our winner. It is Gunther. Congratulations to Gunther for winning his second match here. And let's believe we can take now a quick look at... We can now take a quick look at our bracket, that's what I wanted to say. Talking is tough, you know. And we can now see Gunther being in... He should be higher than before, why don't I see him? There's only a single French flag. Here, okay. He's now in rank number 6, so he's in the tops here, as you can see. And PIW remaining in number 13. And PIW also saying, I need to top out early less. Yeah, that's exactly what I feel like as well. And yeah, so from my side, it's gonna be a thanks for watching. And PIW, I will end the stream whenever you tell me that I can end it. Because there's not much more that I feel like I should add for this stream, as we have a second stream, so there's nothing, you know, in terms of, oh, who are we gonna raid? We will just switch roles, as you said earlier. And PW is saying go offline, so see you as a player in around about 15 minutes. Goodbye.